Take control of your mind the way you do your breathing. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Legs crossed, back straight, eyes closed. Feeling the power of you controlling your own breathing. The same way you control your mind. One breath at a time, one thought at a time. Good air and thoughts in, bad air and bad thoughts out. Now, let's see our vision today. Let's see ourselves doing the best we can on all the exercises and stretches we do here together today, right now. Go into the future right now. See in your mind's eye. See yourself doing the best you can on whatever exercise we do together. See it so clearly that it feels real. When that music shuts off, if you've already seen it in your mind and you believe that you can make it happen, you're gonna make it real. You're gonna win.
Get ready for your Fit 711 home workout powered by Fit 711. Let's get started in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Are you ready to work out? Are you ready to work out?
Let it drop now, 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 let it drop now.
Solo te quiero lejos de mí. Sé que no sabes de mí y no te puedo mentir. Lo que dicen en la calle sobre mí y no te voy a negar. Y no te voy a negar.
Hey guys, there's an old African proverb that goes like this: if there is no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. And I've heard Les Brown often refer to it in his speeches, and it's stuck with me. It's become part of me. It's my daily reminder to monitor what is going on in my mind. What do I think about myself? And now I'm challenging you to ask yourself daily, what are the thoughts that are going on in your mind about yourself? What do you think about yourself? If you are happy with yourself, that's wonderful, because it's going to affect the amount of positive influence that you have around you. But if you're not happy with yourself, then how can you possibly admit and be the best part of you with others? So let's really monitor what's going on within. If we can come to peace with ourselves, then we can actually be our true great selves for everyone else. Hope this helps, everyone. Have a great day.
I'm going to talk about my philosophy about leadership, because when I hear the word leadership, I think about influence. So let's first talk about, what does the word influence actually mean? Okay. So influence is the power that you have to affect the actions, behaviors, and opinions of other people. In short, it means you have the influence to move somebody from point A to point B. Now, there are two kinds of influence that all leaders have: internal influence, and that's the power that you have over yourself. And in my opinion, this type of influence is the single most important type of influence to practice and cultivate that will impact your ability to impact others. Internal influence is your ability to move yourself from point A to point B. Because one of the things about being a great leader is knowing how to be flexible, knowing how to change, knowing how to pivot, knowing how to grow. And that means you've got to have influence over yourself. The other type of influence is external influence. And that is your ability to move other people from point A to point B. You know, we all have had these experiences, right, where we've been around other leaders. We've been around people that have had that implied influence, right? Because of their position, because of their title. But I guarantee you, you've had the experience where you've had to work for or been around another leader, but they have not been that influential on you. They were either a jerk or a micromanager, or they showed up in a way that made you feel awful. You have had that experience. And one of the reasons why I want to hammer home this point, that it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, what you do. Leadership, the best kind of leadership and the most powerful kind of influence, is the type that's earned. It has nothing to do with your position. It has nothing to do with your title. It has everything to do with how you show up and the way in which you treat other people. I want you to understand that the most important aspect of raising your influence and of becoming a better and a more influential leader is deciding that you want to be and claiming that leadership role in your life. When you look at leadership, and Brendan's right, it's super important that you're a student your whole life, that leadership is something that you should study. When you start to look into leadership, you're going to see that there's all kinds of books, there's all kinds of philosophies. There are servant-based leaders, there are transformational leaders, there are situational leaders, there are people who are authoritarian leaders. There's a bazillion different leadership styles. Well, what I want you to think about is, what kind of leader do you want to be? And there are two questions that I think are important for you to ask yourself. And the reason why it's important for you to ask yourself these two questions is because they will give you a roadmap that maps to your values and maps to your goals and maps to who you are in terms of cultivating a leadership style. Okay. So here are the two questions. Number one, when you leave a room, what do you want people to say about you? And these are really important, and I'm going to explain why. So for me, when I leave a room, what do I want people to say about me? Oh my gosh, she's authentic, she's smart, she's inspiring, she's fun. I want to work with her. I love her. Like, that's the kind of vibe. Those are the adjectives. And it's important for you to answer that question authentically for you. What do you want people to say about you when you leave a room? Because to me, embedded in that description is the roadmap to the type of leader that you want to be. And I guarantee you, what Brendan would say in answer to that question is different than what I would say. And it's different than what you would say. I see motivating, caring, informative, inspiring, happy, and confident. These are really important words for you to think about. And here's why. Once you answer that question, what do you want people to say about you when you leave a room? You now have this roadmap, as I've mentioned, and you can use a very powerful body of research called behavioral activation therapy, BAT. The shorthand for BAT, I talk about it a lot in my training, is act like the person you want to become. It sounds supremely stupid and simple. Everything I talk about is. And oftentimes the greatest change always comes from the simple, obvious stuff. If you want people to say that you are inspiring, happy, and confident, or you are fun, positive, and kind, act like that person. Research shows that simply setting an intention at the beginning of the day about who you want to be today, what are those words you want people to say about you when you leave the room? Wow, that Mel Robbins, she is so authentic. She is just herself. She is so smart. She is so inspiring. She's so fun to be. I really want to work with her. That is critical for you to write down. Now let's talk about the second one. Okay, because this is going to measure the impact that you want to make. Okay, so the first one is sort of giving you the roadmap to acting like the kind of leader, the sort of leadership style. Now we're going to talk about impact, and that is, how do you want people to feel when they're around you? See, the first question was about you and your reputation. The second one is about the impact that you make in people, how you're perceived. For me, I want people to leave feeling empowered, seen, and inspired. And if I had to ask, do another one, it would be energized and appreciated. So what are the words that describe how you want people to feel when they are around you? You see, another metaphor, and I love metaphors too, is leadership and influence is all about action and intention. And a metaphor that I like to think about when I think about leadership and influence is, we have this awesome dog named YOLO. He is literally one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me. He's 2 years old, so he's just coming out of the puppy stage. He's an Australian Shepherd. And we've had lots of dogs in our life, and we have this awesome cat named Mr. Noodle. They're all over my Instagram stories if you follow me online. But he is just joyous. When I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to this dog panting back and forth in the bedroom because he wants to go outside, he's so excited. The second he hears me stir, he's like up on the bed. He's super excited. And I take him for a walk every morning, and we're down vacationing this month. And we're right by the ocean. And one of the greatest things that I do every morning is I walk the dog. And so I throw the ball and he runs in and out of the ocean. And, if you've ever been around a dog and a dog runs into the ocean and runs down the sand and then runs back into the ocean, what does a dog do when they're wet? They shake, right? They shake. And then sand and ocean water and seaweed and everything that's on the dog goes spraying off in every direction. It gets all over everything. Your leadership and influence style is the exact same way. You are sprinkling it and spreading it everywhere you go. And so it's so important for you to answer these questions. How do you want people to feel when they're around you? because that is the ocean and the sand and everything that shakes off you as you're moving around through your day-to-day life. And if you want to make sure that people feel, and I see this, playful, at peace, empowered, good, you need to be intentional about causing that in people.
Morning, guys. Today, Les Brown shares with us his rule number 1 for top 10 rules for success, and that is a big one. It is believe in yourself. This one is everything for all of us. He reminds us that every day it's a selling job. It's a selling job on you selling yourself about what you can do. It is the daily grind of going into your thoughts, and every time there's a negative thought, replacing it with that positive thought about you. So you're in the business of selling yourself, selling the job that you can do on you, on your greater you. So no matter what you feel, yeah, you're going to have defeats. You're going to have these negative thoughts that come at you. You're going to have failures. But every day you have to continue to go back at it again. Stand up within yourself and say, I'm going to do it differently this time. I'm going to keep going until I get to where I want to be. It's that belief in yourself that activates the full power of our mind to be our great self. Have a great day, everyone.
Goes for it! Oh, spectacular! What an introduction! Harry Arter with a beauty! För sjunde gången den här säsongen.
My thinking is that you guys remember, if you want to be successful, learn from the other people's mistakes. Don't learn from the successful stories. There are a lot of reasons behind it. I remember the first time Harvard Business School came to us, say, Jack, we want to write a case study for you. They came, they spent 1 week and they write a report and I read. I said, this is not me, this is you. I said, no, this is not us. The next 5 years, they invited me to go to the case study. You learn from mistakes, not because you will be able to avoid mistakes. When these mistakes come, this suffer comes, you know how to deal with it. The book I want to write, if I want, is Alibaba 1001 Mistakes. This is the most treasurable thing in my life. In my life, it's not how much we achieved, it's how much we gone through the tough days and mistakes. And this is, if you start to think now, it'll be good.
Need motivation? Watch a Top 10 with Believe Nation. What's up? It's Evan. My one word is believe, and I believe in you. I believe you have an amazing gift inside you that I want to see explode out onto the world. So let's get your motivation to a 10 and get you believing in you. Grab a snack and chew on today's lessons from a man who went from growing up in China and giving tours to tourists for free for 9 years just to learn English, to becoming one of the wealthiest people in the world with a net worth of over $50 billion. He's Jack Ma, and here's my take on his top 10 rules of success, volume 3. Enjoy. Rule number 2, focus on quality, not size.
Last century, the bigger the better. This century, the good the better. Do the business, not because the size, it does not necessarily the big size you are, the more profit you are.
You really believe that?
I believe that.
There's a different ethic of business.
You know, we got a Fortune 500 companies, you judge because of the size. How many of them are really happy? How many of them have profit? No. Small companies, they are very profitable. They are very happy. They can spend time with the wife and the husband and kids traveling around, and that's the life.
Rule number 3, be the first.
Don't try to be the best. Be the first. Be the first to change. Be the first to take the challenge. Be the first one to overcome the difficulties. Because the best person, there's only one Olympic champion. I don't think I'm lucky enough to be that. But I can always try the new things and don't give up. I believe it because you are so unique. Everybody's unique. Be yourself is always the key.
Rule number 4, prepare for the future.
People like me, I was born in a very poor family. I never got a great education. You know, I failed all the examinations. For what reason? I don't know. But later, I realized I don't have money. I don't have technology. I don't have a lot of good backgrounds. We have a rich uncle or something, no. The only thing I competed with my people, the young people, is let's compete for 10 years later. This is what I believe 10 years later will be happening. So everything I do for that goal, I know 10 years later, this thing is going to happen. So prepare for that. Because I know if I compete with him for next month, no chance. So this is how my message, it's a challenge, but it's an opportunity. And it's the opportunity for people like us. This world, the most difficult thing is to convincing a successful people. When you tell him, this is a great opportunity, he said, no, forget it, right? I've been doing this for 30 years. But for people like us, we're looking for opportunities in order to survive. So we will do anything to be creative. So this is the message. 30 years, it's an opportunity for us. It's a challenge for those people who are 60 years old. If they're 60 years old, not discrimination, but it is tough for them.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. Rule number 5, respect your competitors.
Who's your most dangerous competitor? Is it Amazon or is it Tencent?
Well, people always compare us with Amazon. Amazon is a great company. I respect. I've been seeing them from tiny to that big. and I think they will continue to grow. But we are different. Amazon is an e-commerce company. We are not e-commerce company. We enable other people to do e-commerce. We want to making sure everybody can be Amazon.
So are you saying Tencent is the greater competitor?
Tencent is, of course, they are a great company, and it's not easy to be that size within only less than 20 years, so innovative and so creative. So different on social technology, and they're based in Shenzhen, and they're almost everywhere in China. But respect, of course we compete, but compete does not mean I have to hate them. Don't hate your competitors. Respect your competitors, learn from him. But, Pony and I, we've been doing the charity together, the Nature Conservancy, and protect but we compete each other. But when we compete each other, we should respect each other. I respect him. I respect Tencent.
Rule number 6, see challenges as opportunities.
This world today is full of challenges and opportunities. 2,000 years ago, full of challenges and opportunities. And I'm sure 2,000 years later, full of challenges and opportunities. There's always, it depends on how you look at it. Somebody look at this challenge as opportunity. Young people always say there's no opportunity. I complain a lot when I was young because I think Bill Gates took all the opportunities for the Microsoft, and Steve Jobs, all these guys. There's no job, there's no great big stuff left for us. But I think opportunity always lies in the challenges, always lies in the complaints. If you can solve the challenge, you will be successful. The big challenge you solve, the big problem, the big opportunity you have.
Rule number 7, my personal favorite, believe.
In the past 18 years, when I do internet in China, we got a criticism every day. Something when you believe it, a lot of people criticize it. But if you really believe, continue to do it, improve it. We were rejected by more than 30 venture capitalists. But we are very optimistic. We believe in the future. We believe in internet. And we believe that if we do not succeed, somebody will.
Rule number 8, surround yourself with greatness.
How do I motivate, incentive or motivate my colleagues? You have to find the people that can mobilize themselves. It's impossible to encourage a negative person. So the people you hire, the people work together, they have to be, or you cannot, we have 65,000 employees now, you cannot hire all of them that positive, but at least the people work with me. My management, leadership, several areas, they have to be positive. They have to know to incentive the others, because I cannot incentive everybody. And making sure the culture. So I think it would be very painful for me to talk to my vice president, and he need to be incentivized and mobilized every time, right? This won't work. If he does not know how to incentivize or mobilize his people, it's better. I don't think he will be the vice president. He should be a good engineer, good designer, but not a good leader. A good leader should know how, but not by only money. Most of people incentivized or mobilized not because you give them a lot of money. You give them respect, trust, appreciation, and correct, heartful advice. When you come to my meetings, internal meetings, you will be shocked because we are not like a lot of the other Chinese company. The boss say everybody listen, take notes, and go down. We are like a war room. We make decisions based on whose voice is louder. Right? Early days, we fight and talk, and then making sure everybody speak up. Right. So this is also a way of mobilize and incentive. There are a lot of ways. And different people have a different way to send incentive.
Rule number 9, live healthy.
I think life is a journey. You come to this world is to enjoy the life, to be happy and healthy. So the day when you leave the world and you say, I'm happy in my life, I'm healthy in this life, because if you're not healthy, you will never be happy. So I believe happy and healthy are the things the human being always looking for. And I think next to 30 years, because of the technology, the life science is going to change a lot. And people is going to live longer. But you can live longer does not necessarily live healthier. So if you're not healthy, how can you be happy? If you live longer, if you're not happy, why you live there?
And rule number 10, the last one before the bonus clips, have fun.
I found out some great leaders in the world. They are always positive. They never complain others, and never complain. And they look at the things in a different view, like normal people. So I think people in my company, at the beginning, they don't like me because I'll always think about 10 years, 5 years. And then after we're working together for 3 or 5 years, they find, you're right. Then we got the credit rating. And as a CEO, one of the jobs, when everybody's happy, you have to see the unhappy things. When everybody's unhappy, you have to see the happy things. So leadership is nature, but you have to have train and learn. And I got my leadership upgraded in Davos. I see so many. Ali Enter Financing, how many people here know about Alipay? Thank you. Alipay's decision was made here. I was thinking about Alipay, but I was not there to launch Alipay because in China, if you do financing without license, you will be in jail at that time. So I went to the banks, can you help us do the e-commerce on transaction? No. No banks would accept it. So if there will be no Alipay, no financing, the e-commerce will go nowhere. So year 2004, I was here. Listen to a speech by 2 state leaders about leadership. And this guy said, leadership is about responsibility. You believe it, but the people don't believe it. But if you think it's so critical, you should pay any price to do it. So that day changed my mind, and I called back to my team, say, let's launch it within 1 month. If somebody has to go to the jail, I go to the jail. Who will be the second one follow me? If I go, you continue, and you go to the jail, you go continue. That was called the leadership determination. And year 2004, I made the decision here, I called it back. And now today, the Alipay launched, and it's so big, over 800 million people today using Alipay globally. This is called.
I was born in a very normal family and poor family. 6 people share $7 a month. We can only eat 1 chicken a year. It was terrible. Nixon visited my city, 1972. China, USA signed, Mao Zedong, Nixon signed the agreement. So China became open door. My city, Hangzhou, was one of the first cities that opened to the West. We got a lot of American tourists to visit my city.
What he would do is he would befriend foreign visitors who came to Hangzhou to walk around the West Lake there.
And I learned English by being the free guide for tour guide.
More than the language, Jack was learning about the culture.
The things I learned from books from China are so different from the things I learned from the American visitors. So I started to think differently.
Because you made it this far in a video, I want to celebrate you. Most people start and don't finish. Most people never actually follow through. Most people say they want something, but they don't ever do the work to actually get it. But you are different. You are special. Believe Nation, you made it here all the way to the end, and I love you. So as a special celebration, if you put a hashtag Believe down in the comments below on this video, I will showcase you and celebrate you somewhere on the screen in a future video because you are awesome.
For 10 more amazing rules from Jack Ma, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
When I graduated from university, for 3 years I tried to fill in the universities. So I applied jobs for 30 times, got rejected. I went for a police, they said, no, you're not good. I went to even the KFC.
My thinking is that
Hey, here come the trouble. The trouble.
Suavemente, bésame, que quiero sentir tus labios besándome otra vez. Suavemente, bésame, que quiero sentir tus labios besándome otra vez.
Morning, guys. I want to share with you a personal story that will highlight how amazing this path is to infinite mind wealth that we're on together, and I'm openly sharing with you. And the story I want to share was a couple of weeks ago. I was having a moment where I was feeling really inspirational, really sort of proud of the things I'm doing, and just kind of breaking down my own walls of self-limiting beliefs and doing some of the things that I never thought I would do, especially in the year 2018. And then I actually got to a point where I realized I almost got angry at myself, because I thought, what's been going on all these years that have prevented me from doing the things I'm doing now? And then I started sort of laughing inwardly to myself. I thought, it's all about getting out of our comfort zone. So then I thought, what else is there that I thought I couldn't do that I can do? And I challenge you to remember this too. What are we really stopping ourselves from doing? Have a great day, everyone.
When you think about education and self-education, what do you recommend?
I would encourage people to read a lot of books. Basically, try to ingest as much information as you can. Also, just develop a good general knowledge. Try to learn a little bit about a lot of things. How would you know what you're really interested in if you at least aren't like doing a peripheral exploration of broadly of the knowledge? You talk to people from different walks of life and different industries and professions and skills and occupations. Like, just try to learn as much as possible. I would encourage people to read broadly in many different subject areas. Try to find something where there's an overlap of your talents and what you're interested in. So you want to try to find a good combination of the things that you're inherently good at, but you also like doing.
Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because when I started my first business, I really struggled to believe in myself. I was making $300 a month and quit on my business partner. And the thing that saved me was watching the stories of successful entrepreneurs. They gave me strategies as well as hope and belief that just maybe I could do it myself as well. And I hope that this video here today helps you get a little bit more belief in yourself, because I still need the videos for myself today too. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Elon Musk, and my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy. Rule number 2 is find your drive.
Why do we need to build a city on Mars with 1 million people on it in your lifetime, which I think is kind of what you've said you'd love to do?
Yeah, I think it's important to have a future that is inspiring and appealing. I mean, I just think that there have to be reasons that you get up in the morning and you want to live. Like, why do you want to live? What's the point? What inspires you? What do you love about the future? And if we're not out there, if the future does not include being out there among the stars and being a multi-planet species, I find that it's incredibly depressing if that's not the future that we're going to have. I think the value of beauty and inspiration is very much underrated, no question. But I want to be clear. I'm not trying to be anyone's savior. That is not the. I'm just trying to think about the future and not be sad.
Rule number 3 is believe in yourself.
How do you deal with the people who say, no, you are shooting too far ahead. You are trying to do something that's impossible. Don't bother doing it, or are resistant to change. How do you manage that resistance, the naysayers out there, and continue on?
Well, I would go back to physics in that the only things that are truly impossible are breaking the laws of physics. So as long as you're not breaking the laws of physics, it's possible. It doesn't matter what anyone's opinion is. Physics is the law and everything else is a recommendation. I've seen plenty of people break the law, but I've never seen anyone break physics.
Anything within the laws of physics is possible.
Yeah. I mean, and you can certainly challenge the laws of physics, but they've been challenged quite well and have found to be resilient.
Rule number 4 is never quit.
Where do you go to, both personally, intellectually, as an engineer, as a team, like for source of strength needed to sort of persevere through this and to keep going with the project, take it to completion?
A source of strength. I just really not how I think about things. I mean, for me, it's simply this is something that is important to get done, and we should just keep doing it or die trying. And I don't need a source of strength.
So quitting is not even like
It's not in my nature.
Okay.
And I don't care about optimism or pessimism that we're going to get it done.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there.
Rule number 5 is grow from mistakes.
What were your biggest obstacles or mistakes that you have faced, and how did you overcome it? And maybe you can also give us, the students here, a piece of advice, and that will be very amazing. Thank you.
Well, to be frank, I've made so many mistakes that it would take far too long for me to list them all. So I don't want to bore people with the extremely long list of mistakes that I've made in the past. I think that the higher principle here is that it is always to aspire to be less wrong over time. So to acknowledge that you will always be to some degree wrong, but that you wish to be less wrong over time, and if you can be a little less wrong every day, I think you're doing great. It's hard to be less wrong every day, but frankly, even if you can be less wrong most days, that's a pretty big victory. You know, a number of things I've said before publicly. So, you know, I think it's important to place weight upon both the heart and the mind, not simply the mind. Some of the biggest mistakes that I've made in terms of hiring people have been when they were strong of mind but not of heart. The higher principle is just assume you're wrong and you want to be less wrong, and just try to be less wrong every day. Seek critical feedback, especially from friends. Often your friends will know what you're saying is wrong, but they don't want to hurt your feelings, so they won't tell you. But if you ask them to tell you and say that it won't hurt your feelings, then they will tell you. So I think getting critical feedback from friends is very helpful.
Rule number 6 is seek answers.
How would you describe yourself? I suppose I would just say I'm a technologist who is curious about the future. And generally, I'm trying to take the actions that most likely lead to a better future for civilization. I think that's, like, frankly, the only, like, logical thing to do. Because, like, if you don't take the, you know, there's no point in having, like, a good future without civilization. You know, if civilization crumbles, nobody's going to have a good future. So I don't know. So I think we want to take the set of actions that maximize the probability the future is going to be good and interesting, and then we understand more about the nature of reality and the universe.
Why do you think you made this your goal, though?
Like, I guess when I was kind of growing up, I did have this, like, existential crisis where I was like, what's the meaning of life? Is this all pointless? Is there any point in existing at all? And I read the various religious texts, and I read a bunch of the philosophers, and I just couldn't really seem to find any good answers. And then I read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is really a book on philosophy, but it's disguised as a book on humor. And the point Douglas Adams was making is that the purpose of life is to learn more, to ultimately know what questions to learn what questions to ask about the answer that is the universe. He was sort of making that like that's the actual point, is to figure out the point. And so at least that was my interpretation. And so therefore we should take the set of actions that are likely to expand consciousness and our understanding of the universe, so that we can know what the meaning of life is, or why we're here and how the universe came to be.
Rule number 7 is be a problem solver.
Indonesia and a lot of developing countries, and even developed countries, have a lot of traffic. Are you thinking to do projects of boring company in developing country cities, especially maybe using electric buses, so you can solve two things at the same time, traffic and CO2 emission?
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like, my joke about tunnels is that tunnels are underappreciated. I mean, it's not the best joke in the world, but I think the only answer that I can see for congestion in cities is tunnels. I think flying cars are. I think because of the fact that they generate a lot of noise and a lot of wind, and there's always some possibility that it will fall on your head. And it certainly would not be good for privacy if flying cars were flying over your house all the time. I think, on the other hand, that tunnels do not suffer from any of those issues. And so like you can think of flying cars as like 3D above ground, and tunnels are like 3D below ground. And we have some of our first tunnels with electric vehicles operating in them in Las Vegas. So I'd encourage anyone who visits Las Vegas to try them out. It sounds so simple, but electric vehicles in tunnels are absolutely an answer to the worst possible congestion of any city, because you can go as many layers of tunnels deep as you would like until the traffic congestion is addressed.
Rule number 8 is always be curious.
What is your day-to-day habit that turned you into a person that you are now?
Well, in terms of a day-to-day habit, I think being curious about the world, how the world works, and curious about technology, and curious about everything, really. I think curiosity is a very important thing to have. And then to be somewhat obsessive about the curiosity. I saw probably obsessive curiosity is probably the number one thing. And I think having a sort of a sense of adventure is also good. I think sometimes people are afraid of things when they shouldn't be afraid of things. Like, you want to make sure that your fear is proportionate to the actual danger. And I think sometimes our instinctive fear is not proportionate to the actual danger. So you want to try to rethink things, like just try to say, okay, is that fear justified? Like, will something bad actually happen? And if, you sort of have to sometimes look at your instinctive fear and question it and decide whether that is, really a valid fear or not. And often it is not. And simply looking at the fear will make it go away.
Rule number 9 is be a visionary.
In 20 years, Elon, Indonesia wants to be in golden era in 2045, 100 years of the independence. What are great questions to ask?
Well, I think one of the questions to ask is, what future do you want? Like, what is the good future? I think one where civilization is growing and the scope and scale of consciousness are growing along with it is a great future. Obviously one where we transition to sustainable energy, because the counterpoint is unsustainable energy. The faster we can transition to a sustainable energy economy, the better. But we will transition to a sustainable energy economy. Just a question of how long it takes. And then I think just furthering human knowledge so we can understand the nature of the universe and our place in it, and how we got here, and the meaning of life. And as I said earlier, going and exploring the star systems, and maybe we'll find, alien civilizations, or discover alien civilizations existed millions of years ago may no longer exist, but we see the ruins of ancient civilizations. I think that would be incredibly interesting, just to, go out there and explore the galaxy.
And rule number 10, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is take action.
I really want to make sure that there is a good future for humanity, and that we're on a path to understanding the nature of the universe, the meaning of life, why are we here, how do we get here. And in order to understand the nature of the universe and all these fundamental questions, we must expand the scope and scale of consciousness. Certainly, it must not diminish or go out, or we certainly won't understand this. So I would say I'm motivated by curiosity more than anything, and just a desire to think about the future and not be sad, And
are you? Are you not sad?
I'm sometimes sad, but mostly I'm feeling, I guess, relatively optimistic about the future these days. There are certainly some big risks that humanity faces. I think the population collapse is a really big deal that I wish more people would think about, because the birth rate is far below what's needed to sustain civilization at its current level. There's obviously we need to take action on climate sustainability, which is being done. And we need to secure the future of consciousness by being a multi-planet species. We need to address it's important to take whatever actions we can think of to address the existential risks that affect the future of consciousness.
There's a whole generation coming through who seem really sad about the future. What would you say to them?
Well, I think if you want the future to be good, you must make it so. Take action to make it good, and it will be. The first 3 flights of the Falcon 1 failed, or rather, they certainly didn't get to orbit. The second and third flights arguably got to space, but they did not reach full orbital velocity. And unfortunately, the fourth flight worked. And if it hadn't, SpaceX wouldn't be around, because I'd basically run out of money. So that was a bit of a nail biter. Thank goodness. And in fact, this all happened in 2008. So, there was really no ability to raise outside money in a meaningful way in 2008 because of the financial crisis. So you can imagine trying to go to raise money, saying, well, yes, we just had 4 failures and the world is in financial ruin, but would you like to give us some money? That would be a definite no. So fortunately, that succeeded. And we were able to go from Falcon 1 to begin designing the Falcon 9, which is an order of magnitude larger vehicle. And in fact, has more than 20 times the payload. So it's got a payload to orbit of over 10 tons. And that actually has gone a lot better because we had the experience of Falcon 1 to go by. And part of the reason we started with Falcon 1 was because I thought we would make a lot of mistakes. And if we're going to make a lot of mistakes, then it's best to make those mistakes at a small scale rather than at a large scale. And that seems to have worked because going to Falcon 9, we've had 4 flights of Falcon 9, and they've all 4 of them have been successful. So I think that principle seems to have worked reasonably well. Touch wood and all that. Flight 5 is coming up soon.
Because you made it this far in a video, I want to celebrate you. Most people start and don't finish. Most people never actually follow through. Most people say they want something, but they don't ever do the work to actually get it. But you are different. You are special. Believe Nation, you made it here all the way to the end, and I love you. So as a special celebration, if you put a hashtag Believe down in the comments below on this video, I will showcase you and celebrate you somewhere on the screen in a future video because you are awesome.
For 10 more amazing rules from Jeff Bezos, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
Figure out how to absolutely delight them. That is the #1 thing. You have got to have some passion for the arena that you're going to develop and work in, because otherwise you're going to be competing against people who do have passion for that.
And back to legs crossed, back straight, eyes closed. Feeling the power of you regaining control of your breathing. No matter how fast your breathing became, your heart started pumping faster. Started automatically going faster. Right now, we get to take control of our breathing. To keep our back straight, our eyes closed, and our legs crossed. The same way, we get to take control of our thoughts, our mind, at any time, which will then control our bodies and our feelings directly. That's how powerful you are. But you have to believe 100% in this power, this infinitely intelligent being within you and all of us. You gotta believe with all your heart and soul that you can do something. If you don't believe in yourself, nothing else or nobody else will. We're all looking to you. We're all looking to each other to find out the truth of what is already in us. We hold the key, each and every one of us. It all starts with our power to believe 100% in who we really are. That's the greatest determination you can make. 100% believing in you, no matter what, no matter how many mistakes, how many so-called failures, losses, pain, suffering you've experienced. You get to learn from all of it. You get to realize the truth, that there is no such thing as failure. There is only fuel from our mistakes and our losses, which gets transformed, gets used to create our determination.